This is SKN Newsline Month in Review. Join us now as we look at the top stories making the news in the month of May 2017. The Labor Day March this year is one of solidarity but also of protest and challenge against the policies of the Timothy Harris regime. That is the view of leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Denzil Douglas. Addressing supporters and participants in this year's annual Labor Day March on Labor Day Monday, Dr. Douglas suggested that the policies of the government have been oppressive to workers in the country.
But it has also been a march of protest and challenge. Challenge to the policies of a government, the policies of a regime that has trampled the rights of workers over the last 2 years. And that is why the thousands marched to the streets of Bastille in solidarity with the victimization, with those who have been the victims of victimization.
Dr. Douglas claimed that cost of living has gone up since this government took office.
The hardships in this country are palpable. Cost of living too high. You can't find the basic wages to pay people. People cannot pay their basic utilities with the wages that they're receiving. Because all of a sudden, people have been sent home and they are being given 3 and 4 days work at their workplace.
The Labour Party leader said the march signalled the beginning of a mobilisation of the Labour supporters to take back the reins of government.
This has not been only a march of solidarity with workers. It has been a march of solidarity with the political agenda of the St. Kitts Nevis Trades and Labour Union and the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party as well. And that political agenda has been demonstrated time and time again. And so we say today, as of today, this march, a signal of complete mobilization of the comrades of this country for labor.
The day, observed on May 1st, is really a day for workers. But in St. Kitts and Nevis and most other countries in the Eastern Caribbean, it has been observed primarily by their respective Labour parties. Dr. Douglas, in his address, expressed satisfaction with the turnout and the support from the marchers. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. If everyday low prices and quality products matter to you, then come to Cost-U-Less on Bush Road, number 72, St. Martin. At Cost-U-Less, you can buy the highest quality food and household products, frozen foods, dairy products, snacks, laundry and cleaning products, housewares, and just about every other thing under the sun. Our customer service is just simply the best. St. Kitts Nevis shoppers, visit www.costuless.com or visit our store on St. Martin and we'll help you ship your items. Cost-U-Less, your best value warehouse store.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're fully covered after an accident, the security of your home and everything in it that means so much to you. And knowing that even when the weather does its worst, you and your family are covered. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
The world's largest cruise ship, Harmony of the Seas, docked at Port Zante Wednesday morning. Minister of Tourism Lindsay Grant was on hand to greet some of the tourists and welcome the massive vessel to the island. Mr. Grant expressed elation with the vessel docking at the port and said the occasion reflected the success of the island's tourism growth.
And I think this has been the brainchild of our only living national hero, Sir Kennedy Simmons. And it is testament also to the vision in the future that we expect in the new facility that we will put down here shortly. We are hoping that that facility will endure to the benefit of the country, St. Kitts and Nevis, for the next 30 years. And so this is significant. But for me, the significance really is in what it will deliver for the stakeholders of the industry. The vendors, the retailers, the aloe rub vendors, the primate vendors, the shopkeepers, those are what we, or who we want to benefit from today and from the industry.
Mr. Grant was upbeat about the cruise tourism season, though noting that the island may miss out slightly on the 1 millionth cruise passenger, which was one of the targets for this tourism season.
We are approaching 1 million passengers. I believe we may fall short by about $10,000–15,000. I expected it for it to happen. I don't think it'll happen. I'm looking at the numbers. It's scheduled to happen in September, but I believe we're going to have 1 or 2 cancellations. It always happens, so we may not meet the mark of the 1 million passengers this year. However, we're well on our way. Last year we fell short by 80,000. This year maybe by 10,000. Next year we may make it.
Meanwhile, a taxi and tour operator who was on the port Wednesday morning to receive his share of the thousands of passengers on the Harmony of the Seas was upbeat about this year's tourism season and the world's largest cruise vessel docking at Port Zante.
We are indeed happy to have a ship of this magnitude here this morning. I was saying that when I look at it, someone was showing me this morning that these 3 ports in the Caribbean that this ship is comfortable in docking. That's the Bahamas, St. Thomas and St. Kitts Nevis. And we're indeed happy to have it. We're anticipating a good turnout today. All taxi drivers should be anticipating a very good turnout where everyone will be able and should be able to obtain something that they can be comfortable. Being around the tourism sector for a while now, I can say this has been a very good season. Everybody may not be able to say the same thing, but from my personal experience, I can say that it has been good.
With a total capacity of close to 10,000, including crew, Harmony of the Seas has 2,747 staterooms with a wide variety of types to accommodate, at double occupancy, 5,479 guests, ranging from small interior rooms to larger rooms and suites. Minister Grant disclosed that next cruise tourism season, Harmony of the Seas will dock at Port Zante every 2 weeks during the off-season until September. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. There is a war of words between the St. Kitts Nevis opposition and the government regarding a report of an accused Chinese national with St. Kitts Nevis citizenship who is wanted by the Chinese government. Ren Biao, who is said to be wanted for forgery and fraud, is said to be living in St. Kitts Nevis with a St. Kitts Nevis passport after attaining citizenship through the Citizenship by Investment program in 2013. The crime he is alleged to have committed occurred after he became an economic citizen. According to a report on Carib Update News Service this week, the Chinese authorities are claiming not to be getting cooperation from the St. Kitts Nevis government. The report further alleged that the undercover police from China interviewed the suspect's 15-year-old son at his home in St. Kitts while his father was away. The report also claimed that a call from the suspect to his parents in China was intercepted in April, where he was allegedly requesting some $190,000 to continue paying the authorities in St. Kitts for his protection. The government of St. Kitts Nevis said due process is being followed regarding the investigation of the suspect, as he is a St. Kitts Nevis citizen. Additionally, a statement from the government this week said it had not received a formal request from China regarding the suspect, as St. Kitts Nevis and China does not have diplomatic relations. Attorney General Vincent Byron Jr., in an interview with radio station Win FM, said proper procedures are being followed where the investigations are concerned.
St. Kitts Nevis does not have diplomatic relations with the Republic of China, and therefore the Chinese have not approached the government of St. Kitts Nevis on any matter. We have had informal approaches on this matter concerning someone who is a native of China, with Chinese background, but who are currently St. Kitts Nevis citizens. And as a citizen of St. Kitts Nevis, they are due the same rights as any other citizen guaranteed by our Constitution.
But chairperson of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, Marcella Liburd, said the response from the government on this issue has been inadequate.
We have learned also, Juni, because even if there's no diplomatic relations with China, because China is part of Interpol, usually there's something like an emissary that would be sent to the government in situations like that where you don't have diplomatic relations. So was one sent from China to this government? And so we say that this statement that they put out is totally inadequate. It does not answer the questions that we, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, have.
Ms. Liburd further alleged that the government had not responded to the allegation of bribery.
The main point of the Carib update thing was a payment for protection of a wanted man. That is the critical matter. That matter, interestingly, was conspicuously not addressed in the government statement. Not addressed at all in the government statement. We, as Carib Update, was saying that a call was intercepted by this man to Beijing, to his family, where he requested a further $190,000 US to pay to the authorities here for protection. That is the critical matter. How is it that a matter like that, raised in a news item to which the government relates, that they have not even one word, one line on that?
But the Attorney General denied the bribery claims. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis said it will comply with its obligation as a responsible member of the international community. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris has spoken on the controversy surrounding the Chinese national with St. Kitts Nevis citizenship during a radio program on Sugar City 90.3 on Monday. Speaking on the radio program People's Voice, Prime Minister Harris, in response to calls for his resignation from opposition leader Dr. Denzil Douglas on how he's handling the matter, suggested that this controversy is an inheritance of the Denzil Douglas administration.
It is his administration that allowed them entry into the country in spite of the fact that he had knowledge and had come to him from Interpol that they were coming to his country. He did nothing.
Dr. Harris said the extradition protocol is being followed and this takes time to be completed.
The question before the Cabinet and the Attorney General, how do you deal with these situations?
Yes.
And so we ask for the legal advice. But we have a memory, those of us who are old enough. Denzil Douglas presided over extradition requests for a number of people.
Yes.
So we know how that process works. We know how long it takes. So therefore, how could this hypocritical being now come to say, well, hand them over?
A small core of Labour Party supporters stood outside Sugar City 90.3 in Greenlands on Monday to await the Prime Minister as he left the radio station after the program. The protesters were also standing outside the office of the Prime Minister on Church Street in Bastille, demanding that Dr. Harris deal with the request by China to hand over one of its nationals. According to a report on Carib Update News Service, Chinese diplomatic sources intercepted communication on April 16 in which Ren called relatives in Beijing seeking an additional $190,000 to help continue pay for what he reportedly described as his protection by condition authorities. The Attorney General has since denied this claim. Prime Minister Harris will be hosting a press conference on Wednesday where this matter is expected to be addressed. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Police have issued a $25,000 reward for information regarding the whereabouts of missing teenager Liana Napoleon. Liana was reported missing after being last seen on Monday, May 8th in the vicinity of the Buckley site and on 4th Street. According to Assistant Commissioner of Police with Responsibility for Crime, Mr. Andre Mitchell, the fund was established by concerned individuals for the purpose of reuniting Liana with her family. Members of the Moravian Church community and the Antioch Baptist Church held a vigil for Liana on Tuesday night in Buckley's, a community where she lived prior to her mother's passing. The public is asked to call the Special Victims Unit at 465-4221, any police station, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477, that's TIPS, or by using the SKN Crime Reporter app with information regarding this investigation. On Wednesday, the police force conducted an extensive search of one of the surrounding areas where Liana was reportedly last seen. The team consisted of officers of the Special Service Unit, SSU, the Anti-Drug Unit, recruits from the Police Training School, 4 teams from the K9 Unit, officers of the St. Kitts Nevis Fire and Rescue Services, soldiers of the St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force, and a team from the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. A combined search team gathered on Wednesday, shortly after daybreak, to search an expansive area in Buckley's bordering the F.T. Williams Highway. On Tuesday, former Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas appealed to Leanna to return home to her family. Speaking on his weekly radio program Tuesday, Dr. Douglas said, quote, "I want to use this program to make a very strong appeal to Leanna Napoleon. If you're listening to my voice, Dr. Douglas, former Prime Minister, please, for God's sake, go home. Your family members are deeply troubled, and the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis are deeply concerned about your safety and welfare." End quote. Meanwhile, a reward of $10,000 is being offered for information into the murder of Gregory Mills, who was killed last Tuesday while driving in Gillard Meadows. In other police reports, 2 persons were convicted with the offense of possession of a firearm and possession of ammunition and were sentenced to 3 years confinement on each charge on Friday, May 12. Dwayne Martin and Carla Hendrickson were charged with the offenses which were committed on May 29, 2014 after being found with illegal firearm. They were found guilty of the charges on June 2, 2016. The police on the weekend also found small quantities of marijuana and other contraband and another firearm in Keon and other locations. A search on Prickly Pear Alley netted a number of electronic items believed to be stolen. The items were seized for matching. Meanwhile, 5 persons have been arrested and charged in relation to a building break-in and larceny at the facilities of Island Purified Water at the corner of Westbourne Gut and Fort Thomas Road. The 5 persons are Crispin Crossley of Malone Avenue, Donnell Gaskin of New Road Housing Project, LaShawn Dorr of Upper Keon, Avionics Huggins of Lower Thibault Avenue, and Marie Francis of Central Market Street. The 5 were arrested and charged on Saturday, May 13th. The incident was reported on Tuesday, May 9th. Investigations revealed that sometime during the overnight hours, the accused entered the building and stole a number of items, including a microwave, a 32-inch Samsung television, a vault, and 2 Pixie Alcatel one-touch phones. $225 in cash were also taken. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
Why read the news when you can watch it? Introducing SKN Newsline, the Federation's only online TV news platform. SKN Newsline is an online TV news platform covering news in St. Kitts and Nevis. You can watch SKN Newsline on our website, www.sknnewsline.com, or Facebook page at www.fb.com/SKN Newsline. SKN Newsline, your world, your news.
Pandemonium broke out Saturday evening at the Warner Park after a lone gunman opened fire while a game was in progress, hitting 1 person. While the action on the field was heating up in the second half between Flow 4GK Rockets and Rams Village Superstars, gunshots rang out and fans were sent scurrying, some onto the field of play. The shots emanated from the eastern section of the football stadium, while unconfirmed reports state that Amal White was struck about the body. Information received by SK Newsline states that the perpetrator may have entered from the back gate of the adjacent cricket ground, which was left open as teams practice ahead of the West Indies and Afghanistan series. Further, this media house was informed that the man approached his victim and opened fire. White was rushed to the hospital as the game was delayed for just over an hour, before officials decided to continue Sunday evening. The police confirmed to reporters that an air pistol was used in the incident. Efforts to solicit a comment from the St. Kitts Nevis Football Association SKNFA officials proved futile, as SK Newsline understands a press statement on the incident would be issued. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Several taxi operators protested in downtown Bastyr earlier this week by honking their horns over what they described as an unfair dispatching system on Port Zante, which is handing safari tour operators an advantage. At the center of the controversy is a new system that was agreed upon by a taxi committee and the tourism authority. Sylvester Socrates Hodge, during a press conference, told reporters that over the past 5 months or so, the tourism authority put in place a transportation committee comprising the presidents of the Tours Association and the Taxi Cooperative, and they crafted new arrangements for the general body of taxi drivers. The arrangements saw the safari operators guaranteeing $400 at the end of the day, when many of the taxi operators leave with a broken pocket, Hodge noted.
The new arrangement has put the safari operators in an advanced position in the prescribed area where we normally dispatch from, ahead of us. Prior to that, they would be on a free-for-all on the port, looking at their own work. There were never any challenges with them getting work. All right? So when we met, a certain committee met, and I was told, well, the reason why they put them there is because they were not being dispatched to. I said, that's a lie. They were never in the queue to be dispatched to. What happens now, the guests come down the corridor and they meet those people first. And they tell them that we are doing tours. Those guys are doing beach. So we're getting a lot of beach work. They're getting the tours.
However, many of those safari operators, Hodge said, do not go to several areas around the island, such as Timothy and Brimstone Hills, circumventing the latter and the government from receiving regular revenue. After meeting with Tourism Minister Lindsey Grant, it was agreed that the safari operators would scale back on the number of passengers that they carry on the tours, but would still guarantee the $400.
From that meeting, he said he would do a compromise. If the capacity was like 30, cutting back to 16. 16 persons at $25 a head, that's $400 every time they move. Currently, they're 33 in numbers. We are over 300. So it's like 10%. Not even more 10%. They're allowed to leave every time with at least $400 when we are limited in the amount of work we get.
While it takes many of the taxi operators 3 weeks to be in the rotation, the safari drivers rotate every 2 days, it was disclosed. They want the matter to be resolved at the earliest, since they are heading into the off-season. Asked why they chose a day with no ship in port to protest, Hodge noted that they did not want to disrupt the livelihood of any operator. The Tourism Authority has since assured that the matter is being dealt with. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.